What's up everybody, it's Matt from Peter Glenn, and in this video I'm going to talk to you about the different types of lacing systems on boots. Let's check this out. So when you're shopping for boots, the main thing that a lot of people notice is that there are different lacing systems out there and different ways to actually tighten your foot into the boot. And when it comes down to it, one is not actually better than the other. They all have their advantages. So starting things off, we'll start with the BOA system. So the BOA is basically a dial system that you crank tight, and then they're gonna have cables or ropes that goes through the boot, and they have different little pads and little plastic kind of tracks inside the boot to help guide the laces. So when you are cranking them down, you get a nice, easy, smooth feel. You basically pull the BOA out and that disengages it, and then when you push it in, that engages the system, and then you just crank it down, and you've got some gears working in there to basically make it nice and easy to actually crank your boots down and get them very, very tight. If you don't have a lot of strength, especially in your hands or for pulling, these are actually a really, really nice way to be able to tighten your boots down. Really, really good for kids too, to be able to actually lace up their own boots. And the BOAs do have different configurations. Some of the less expensive boots, you'll see a single BOA, which usually does the entire boot. And then when you look at the double BOA systems, usually they'll have one on the tongue, one on the side. This is basically so you have one to do the top and one BOA to do the bottom, so you can kind of lace those independently. And then there are some boots like the Ride Lasso Pro here, where it actually has one BOA that does the entire front of the boot, and then this side BOA is actually designed, when you crank this down, there's an internal piece wrapped around the liner and really, really grab your heel and lock it into the boot, which is most important when it comes to the fit of a snowboard boot. And then moving on from the BOA, we move to the Speedzone system, which you are gonna see from a few companies. This is the Burton Speedzone system. It's pretty cool. Burton's actually had this out for a long, long time. It's still using the same ropes. They're a little bit thicker than the ones that they use on the BOA systems, but it is essentially the same thing. Very, very strong, very, very durable. And with these boots, you're actually gonna have two pull strings. You're gonna have one on either side, and these are gonna do similar to what the dual BOA systems do, where you actually have a lower and upper. So you do get an advantage over those single BOA boots, where you're gonna get two lacing zones no matter what. And another thing that's really nice about these laces is that they are super, super strong. So when you are pulling yourself into the boot and you're pulling them tight, you can use two arms. You can use the strength of your leg if you just hold and push with your leg. So you can really, really crank yourself into these boots and get them super, super tight. And once you do get these things tight, they do not come loose until you actually yank them out of the teeth. And then once you have the boot laced up, you basically wrap this up and tuck it into your pocket, and you've got a nice slim profile, and you know that your boot is gonna stay tight all day long until you actually pop it loose. So then moving from the Speedzone to traditional laces. And the nice thing about traditional laces is that if you look down at your feet, we're still lacing up our shoes, we're still lacing up our hockey skates, we're still lacing up a lot of our footwear. And regular laces on a snowboard boot have a huge advantage. And that basically comes into the customization and the overall fit of the boot. Your snowboard boot has three main lacing zones: lower, middle, and upper. Now that middle zone, that goes across your ankle, and again, we wanna have that ankle held down the best way possible. A heel that lifts up inside of a boot, that basically is gonna create pain in your calves, in your arches, and in your toes. I get a lot of people that come in and they say, oh, I get cramps from snowboarding all day long. And right off the bat, I know that one, they're in a boot that doesn't fit right, or two, they're in a boot that's a little bit too big because they're getting too much heel lift inside their boot, and they're using those muscles in their calves to actually try to hold their foot in. With regular lacing, you've got that ankle that you can actually crank yourself down and always keep that tight. But then if you want the lower part to be tight, you can tighten that and leave the upper part loose, or vice versa, or loose, loose, tight, tight, tight. You can fully lace this thing up and get it to feel the way you want it to feel. The other nice thing too is that if you do have a little bit stiffer boot, you can always make a stiffer boot softer just by loosening up the top. And the cool thing about laces, again, is that we've got that middle part that we can leave tight and we can loosen up the top. with some of the quick systems, when you do loosen up the top, a lot of times part of that lacing actually goes through the middle of your boot, and it does loosen up the ankle a bit too. So again, with all of the cool systems out there that can basically make it super easy to lace up your boots, regular laces are still one of the best ways to actually get your foot into the boot and get it held down all day long. And then keeping with the regular lacing, we actually go to the hybrid boots, which are obviously a standard lace boot. So we get all the benefits of your regular laces, but we have this boa on the side. And this boa on the side is all about locking your heel down. And obviously knowing that that is the most important thing to make sure that your boot fits right and it's holding your heel down so you get that comfort all day long and you're not getting unnecessary pain. That boa system, when you crank this thing down, it literally has strings that either go through the tongue, across the top of the tongue. Sometimes it's a piece that actually wraps around the liner itself on the inside, but all of them are in the same area, right across your ankle. So you are getting that ultimate lockdown and an ultimate heel hold. So as you can see, when it comes to the different lacing systems in boots, one is really not better than the other. And at the end of the day, everybody has different shaped feet and all the boots are shaped differently too. You just need to find the boot with the lacing system that actually works best for you. When you're trying on boots, you don't want to walk in and say, I don't want to try on laces. You don't want to walk in and say, I don't want to try on Speedzone. I don't want to try on boa. Try them all on. Find the boots and all the different lacing systems and all the different styles that are gonna fit your budget and fit your riding style and your flex preferences, and then start trying them on. And then no matter what the lacing system, go with the boot that actually fits you the best. That's the boot that's gonna keep you comfortable and keep you standing in your binding and your boards all day long. But if you got any questions about these or any of the boots that we have at peterglenn.com, definitely leave some comments down below. We're on there every single day trying to answer your questions. We wanna make sure we can get you into some rad gear, but most importantly, we wanna make sure that it's gonna fit you properly and keep you riding all day long. Also make sure to like, subscribe, and definitely get that notification bell on too so you can find out when all the new videos drop. And head on over to peterglenn.com or head on into one of our stores. Find that lacing system that works best and fits you the best and get out and ride. Any day of riding is a good day of riding.